Let's come back to glyconutrients. This is something I want to make sure we covered. A unique aspect. I know you're a big fan. Not a lot of people talking about them. Give us the 101 to begin.
Glyconutrients are amazing. Okay, so think of them like sugars that heal. Okay, so these are sugars that are not sweet. They regulate the immune system. They block certain infections, pathogens, not opportunistic, but real pathogens from the body. And the more and more we learn about them, the more important they are. They block lectins, which lectins are in a lot of our quote unquote health foods, but they are very helpful for blocking them from causing the damage in our body if the food isn't prepared appropriately ancestrally. So glyconutrients are pretty amazing, and there's something that you can incorporate into your diet or you can buy as a supplement. But I think as more and more autoimmunity surges, we're going to see a lot more use of glyconutrients in the future because it's so good at regulating that immune system, whether it's suppressed or high. So too high, so too aggressive. So to give you an example, everybody's seeing all these mushrooms on the market, right? Reishi and maitake and turkey tail. They're used for cancer and all these different things, lion's mane. Uh, those are examples of glyconutrients. So there's 8 different medical ones, and it's possible that we'll find more. But I learned about them years ago, well, about 20 years ago now, and I just find them absolutely incredible at what they can do. Um, and going back to the mucosa, actually, if you are someone who has tried a medical mushroom like a reishi and it has not gone well, and say you have chronic fatigue syndrome and you were hoping to improve your energy and instead you felt sick on it, that is an indication that your mucosa is in a full stage of collapse. So you can act as such and act accordingly.
All right, I want to make sure we're practical here again. We know there's 8 different ones. You've mentioned some of the foods where we can get them. What other foods provide those? And what would the spectrum need to be to get the variety we want? And how much do we need? I know there's a lot there, but I just want to be really practical. Somebody who's intrigued now, wanting to get these on a regular basis, what does that look like?
Okay, so the glyconutrients, you really do need all 8. One you're going to have, your body makes glucose. So that one we're good on. So you really need the other 7. Tiny amounts are plenty. You don't need a lot, honestly. So to give you like a quarter of a teaspoon is plenty. You can certainly go higher if you like. If I was sick again, I would use a lot of these. I would use as many as I could afford. So one that many people know of is mannose, and mannose is used against like UTIs and things like that. But mannose is found in a lot of areas that people aren't aware of, right? We think of mannose, we think of cranberries, we think of aloe vera, but it's also in chicken cartilage and egg yolk and shrimp shells. So you can get it on a carnivore diet, and that one is really good. Not just for UTIs, but for allergies. It's neuroprotective, nerve repair, mitochondrial support. It goes a long, long way for benefits. But then you have galactose, and galactose that's in dairy products. That's your cheese, your yogurt, your colostrum, right, for your little babe. And it's also found in some organ meats as well. So if you can't do dairy, it can be found there. Um, Another xylose, I think we may have talked about that in the last one. But we definitely mentioned it earlier today. That's found in some of the tree barks, right? Like birch tree bark has it. You can actually tap birch trees to get xylitol, and that's a great one, especially for head and dental health, ear infections, things like that. Very preventative, very preventative. But it's also found in chicken skin and connective tissue, so you can get it in the animal world as well. Let's see. There's a few others. One found in shrimp shells, chicken cartilage. I think it's also found in shiitake as well. And what are some other foods I can give you? Oh, there's one that's in seaweed, right? We see a lot of seaweed promoted, but it's also in turkey cartilage and oysters if you can't do plants. So that's a really good one. And then there's fucose. That's not fructose or fructose. It's fucose. That's in the animal world, carnivore. You would get that in seaweed-fed animals. So like oysters is where you would find that. But it's also in wakame seaweed specifically, and maitake and reishi. So there's usually multiple ways to get them. Sialic acid is probably the one that I see the least, and uh, I see a lot of people missing that. There's a lot of autoimmunity or health conditions that tends to be very low in sialic acid, like Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, a lot of nervous system disorders, and that's found in brain, animal brain, which is a common food in all the places I go, but it's not eaten here. You can get little amounts in chicken liver or in egg yolks, a little bit in wakame, but really animal brain is kind of the main source of that. So, yeah.
It sounded like there was some overlap there, certain foods that contain different ones. Is there, say, 3 or 4 different foods somebody could put together on a regular basis to make sure they're getting the full spectrum?
Well, I have, you know what, this might motivate me. So I have a huge glyconutrient document that I put together just for my clients. So if your audience, let's say they subscribe or something, we need to give them a name or something. Have a tag name. Put in what do you want to make it? Make fun. But put it in. I'll give you guys we can get you the document. So I'll try to get that up before this goes live. But that gives you recipes and little teas, and that saves you a ton of money from the supplements because the supplements are expensive. Hopefully, I can get that up. It's a huge document. It's like 80 pages.
Do you mean a code that they'd put in?
Yeah.
How about we just
Yeah,
make it
we need a
Jesse?
code.
Keep it easy.
Done. Jesse. It's
Awesome.
Jesse.
What
Great.
is the brand of supplement for somebody that wants an easy way to get the array?
So none of them have all of it, but I actually have that pulled up here. So let me grab it for you. The one I used is ambertose, and it's only missing a couple. Let's see here. Yeah, ambertose has all of it except for sialic acid. Which we just went over. So that would be the easiest. The other ones, the lectin guard is missing about 5 of them. Lectin protect is missing about 5. Lectin defense is missing 4. So that would be the easiest. You could also do a tea. It tastes awful, but it's a recipe I put together for folks that want to save a lot of money. It really does taste so bad, so don't expect your kids to eat this or drink this. But if you do fenugreek plus shiitake plus kelp plus whey protein plus bovine cartilage and psyllium husk, you do get all of them. Now, I realize a lot of listeners or watchers will not be able to do all those foods, so it's case by case. But if you can, that's the cheapest way to go.
For people that haven't known of these or been mindful of their consumption of them, what do you notice when they start to include the array on a regular basis?
2 things. I tend to notice the autoimmunity, the ANA scores, and the other ones regulate. And I also notice that they don't get sick when others don't, when others do get sick. Something that a lot of people report as well is an improvement in energy. But that would, of course, depend on all their other biochemical stuff going on. But those are the 3 main.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch a full episode. I'll see you over there.
We're all born with about 200 very important microbes, and they're starting to go endangered. Now we're lucky to get a handful. We're missing a lot of them, and I think as soon as the public starts to learn about how important these are, there's going to be a massive race.